Imagine you could build a business where people line up begging to work for you. They don't ask for a salary, they bring their own money, they hustle harder than any employee you've ever had because they believe your success is also theirs. Sounds impossible, right? Yet it's the foundation of every great empire, from McDonald's golden arches to your local coffee chain that somehow pops up on every corner. This video is about franchising, but not the boring textbook version. It's about the psychology behind it. How some founders turn ordinary workers into partners, and how if you understand this shift, you can move from chasing money to building a machine that earns it for you. Let's start with the myth everyone believes, that freedom in business comes from control, owning every decision, signing every paycheck, being the boss. But control is a cage with golden bars. You think you're free because you're in charge, yet your business can't move an inch without you. Now picture this instead. You share the cage key with others. Each key holder builds their own small piece of your world. They share profits, risks, and pride. Suddenly, your time multiplies, your income scales, and your stress shrinks. That's what happens when you stop hiring employees and start creating partners. In the old way, let's call it Business 1.0, you pay salaries. You offer small bonuses or commissions, hoping people care, but they don't, because they're working for you, not with you. When you leave the store, the energy leaves too. In Business 2.0, the boss removes the safety net. No base salary, just commission. Work well, and you earn more. Work poorly, and you earn nothing. This model wakes people up, but it also filters them out. Only the hungry stay, the rest drift away. Still, even hunger isn't ownership. If someone feels replaceable, they'll never give you their best ideas. They'll guard their time, not your dream. That's why the smartest founders evolve again to Business 3.0, shared profit, shared risks, shared pride. In this version, a salesperson isn't an employee. They're a mini entrepreneur. They invest something, maybe money, maybe effort, maybe reputation, to become a partner. They care because they've got skin in the game. When a perfume brand in Vietnam adopted this approach, sales didn't just rise, they exploded. Employees became co-owners. They paid small entry fees, earned wholesale prices, and sold with passion that no paycheck could buy. Within a year, some earned enough to buy homes and cars. And the founder, he no longer managed them. They managed themselves. You see the pattern, right? When people feel like owners, you don't have to push them. They push themselves. But this isn't just a business strategy. It's a mindset shift from I must control to I must empower. Let's pause and ask a bigger question. Why don't more entrepreneurs do this? Because giving away ownership feels like losing power, but in truth, it multiplies it. It's the same logic that built empires, both corporate and royal. A wise king shares land, not the throne. The land keeps his empire alive, but loyalty keeps it growing. The same is true for modern business. If you want to scale beyond what your two hands can touch, you must share the rewards, not just the workload. In our next part, we'll dive into how these partnership systems evolve, from shared commission to shared equity, and how you can design a model where others grow rich because you do. When you stop seeing employees as costs and start seeing them as investors, everything changes. They no longer wait for instructions. They start thinking like founders, and founders think in terms of value, not hours. Picture this. You run a cosmetic store. In the traditional model, you hire 4 salespeople. You pay each a fixed salary plus a small bonus. They sell enough to keep the lights on, but not enough to build your dream, because whether they sell 1 bottle or 100, their paycheck looks the same. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Now you upgrade to the next version of business. You remove the base salary and raise the commission. Suddenly, every sale matters. The lazy ones leave, the driven ones thrive. Your store becomes alive again. But this is still a game of short-term hunger. They work for money, not meaning. So you go one step further. You invite them to buy in. $5,000 each to become a true partner. Sounds crazy at first. Who would pay to work? But that's exactly what franchisees do every day. They buy into a system that multiplies their effort. They trade safety for potential. And that small risk changes everything. Once someone invests, they protect their investment. They learn faster. They sell harder. They care deeper, because now they're building something that belongs to them. That $5,000 isn't a fee, it's a filter. It separates the dreamers from the dabblers. You might think, but doesn't that mean I'm losing control? Not really. You're turning your team into shareholders of the journey, not owners of the company. You still hold the brand. You still decide the direction. But now your partners run beside you, not behind you. This is what true financial leverage looks like. Not debt, not machines, People. People who move because they believe they can win too. When one store becomes 10 without you working 10 times harder, you've built a system, and systems, not sweat, create wealth. In every version of history, this pattern repeats. Kings shared land, not crowns. Corporations share profits, not patents. The rich stay rich because they build engines that run without them, engines powered by shared ambition. But let's be clear, partnership alone isn't enough. Without structure, it turns into chaos. That's where rules come in. Not rules that control, but rules that protect. Each partner must know exactly what they own, what they owe, and what they earn. If that clarity is missing, the empire cracks. Because when money enters relationships, confusion becomes poison. So design it well, define how much each partner contributes, define how profits are split, define who makes the final call when disagreements happen. When the system is clear, trust flows naturally, and trust is what keeps the whole thing alive. In the next part, we'll see how these systems evolve beyond partnership into self-replicating models where others start new branches, grow their own teams, and still feed value back to the original source. The beauty of this model is that it doesn't stop with one store or even 10. It expands on its own, like roots spreading through fertile ground. Each partner becomes a seed that can grow another branch, and every branch still feeds back to the same tree. When your team starts earning real money, something magical happens. They stop calling themselves employees, they start calling themselves owners, and owners don't wait for opportunities. They create them. Some open smaller stores in nearby neighborhoods. Some sell online. Some recruit others to join their system. Each action builds a network of profit that runs without your constant supervision. That's how a single shop turns into a network of micro-franchises. Each person operates their space, uses your brand, buys your product, and shares part of the revenue. They grow, you grow, and the cycle keeps repeating. That's compounding, not of money, but of effort. If this sounds familiar, it's because the biggest companies on earth already use it. McDonald's, Starbucks, even insurance firms. None of them sell only products. They sell systems. A good system makes average people capable of extraordinary results. And once you create a system like that, you've built something far more powerful than a business. You've built an ecosystem. Imagine 10 partners, each running a branch that generates $40,000 in monthly sales. They buy products from you at wholesale. You keep the margin between the wholesale and your cost. They earn from the retail price. You earn from the system. They run faster because their gain is real. You rest easier because your growth no longer depends on your daily presence. This is when wealth begins to feel passive. Not because you've stopped working, but because your work now moves through others. That's financial freedom's quiet secret. You don't escape responsibility. You multiply it through people who share your vision. But this model doesn't just grow income. It grows culture. When partners become leaders, you must shift from managing to mentoring. Rules keep order, but culture keeps loyalty. Without culture, ambition turns into competition. And competition, when misdirected, becomes conflict. That's why smart founders build education into their system. They teach not just how to sell, but how to think. Weekly workshops, monthly reflections, regular check-ins. These rituals keep the tribe united under one idea: we grow together or we fall apart. History has already proven the lesson. Empires collapsed when rulers stopped educating their people. Companies collapse when owners stop inspiring their teams. If you want your business to live longer than your energy, teach others to think like you, then trust them to act. Still, there's one final upgrade, one that separates the good from the legendary. It's when ownership becomes optional and belief becomes currency. That's where we go next. When belief becomes currency, the game changes. You're no longer selling a product or even a business model. You're selling trust, the kind that people are willing to invest in with their own savings. That's how community funding begins. Not with investors chasing numbers, but with believers chasing purpose. Instead of one founder putting up $200,000 to open a new branch, a group of partners contributes smaller shares. Each buys a fraction of the vision. Together, they create something larger than any of them could build alone. That's shared risk, turning into shared strength. Founder keeps decision power by holding a smaller but stronger piece, maybe 30 or 40%, while the rest goes to the community of investors who helped make it real. They don't own the whole thing, but they own enough to care. And caring is what keeps the fire alive. When the store opens, they don't just show up to cut ribbons. They show up to work, to promote, to grow. Every sale becomes personal. Every customer becomes part of their reputation. This is how loyalty scales, not through contracts but through connection. The owner earns less per store but gains far more reach. 10 people sharing 10% each can open 10 times as many stores. That's leverage without debt, expansion without exhaustion. And when it's structured right, the brand remains yours, while the workload becomes theirs. But success always attracts imitation. And imitation without ethics breeds decay. Some people take the idea of shared ownership and twist it into traps. They sell dreams instead of systems. They promise partnership but deliver chains. The trick is simple. They make you dependent. You can't buy ingredients elsewhere. You can't choose your supply. You can't grow without permission. They call it franchise freedom, but it's just another form of control. A healthy system does the opposite. It gives you the map, not the leash. It guides you, but doesn't cage you. True wealth systems empower people to build alongside you, not beneath you. That's why the next level isn't about scaling stores. It's about scaling wisdom. When you help others become creators, when you show them how to build their own small empires using the mindset that built yours, you step into the rarest form of wealth, the kind that multiplies through others' success. Your profit is no longer limited to sales or shares. It's measured in influence, trust, and legacy. That's when you realize you've already won. Because you no longer trade time for money, you trade ideas for impact. Freedom isn't when you stop working. It's when your work keeps moving without you. And that's the hidden magic of franchising done right. It's not about multiplying stores. It's about multiplying belief. It's about creating a system where everyone wins and where you quietly are free. Every great business begins with a single idea, but freedom begins when that idea no longer depends on you. When people grow richer because of your system, not just your effort, that's when you've built something that lasts. And that's what wealth really means. The ability to create value even when you're not there to manage it. If this video helped you see business in a new light, take a second to like it. It helps more than you think. Subscribe to The Passive Path for more stories and lessons about building wealth, freedom, and quiet confidence. Leave a comment to share your thoughts or experiences. I always read them. And if you know someone who's building a dream but still trapped in the daily grind, share this video with them. You might just change how they see their path to freedom. Thank you for watching. I wish you clarity, courage, and the kind of success that grows even while you rest. Feel free to explore other videos on this channel. Each one is made to help you take one step closer to financial independence. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.